Thieves eu acho que é a favorita. Eles têm jogadores grandiosos como a Suna e Cryo, que foram um dos destaques do ano passado no EMEA. E o FUT é um time novo que está com jogadores que se juntaram agora, então eu acho que nessa confronto eu acho que vai dar 100 Thieves só pela coesão do time e pelo tanto que eles já conheciam do jogo no ano passado.
Eu acho que a Fúria tem grande chance de ganhar. Elas já ganharam contra a Fnatic uma vez. O DG amassou o Derek, então eu acho que pode acontecer de novo amanhã.
É a Fúria, né, meu? Tá em casa, a torcida tá em peso aí, certeza.
Bom, a Fnatic é uma das favoritas nesse campeonato. Eles têm grandes jogadores como Chronicle, que jogou na Gambit, que ganhou o Masters. Bolster, que é um ótimo IGL, Leo, que tá no Ascensão, e o Alphager também. E a gente tem a Fúria, que é o nosso time favorito aqui do Brasil, junto com a Loud, nossos últimos representantes. Então, por mais que a gente saiba que vai ser um jogo difícil, a Fnatic é um ótimo time, a gente torce aqui pela Fúria e a gente vai dar o coração nessa partida.
Remain in the Omega bracket, and after today we'll be down to our final four. Hello everyone and welcome to day 11 of Lock-In live from Sao Paulo, Brazil. I am your host Yingsu and I'm very excited today to be on the desk with my two analysts for the whole day, Mimi and Achilles. Buckle up guys, I think it's going to be a long one.
It's going to be a good one. I like in that little intro. It feels like every day we're getting more and more cosplayers. We have a Harbor one out there now, which is pretty cool. That's a pretty fast turnaround time.
I'm surprised we haven't seen more Raze cosplay at this event.
That is
given
true.
the affiliation, you would think that would be like oh my god, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to be Raze. But no, it's been good to see.
I will say, I don't know if you guys saw the Cypher one, but it's incredible. There's
not.
one guy who's dressed as Cypher and he looks amazing.
God bless that man, because I imagine he's probably wearing like a ski mask over his face to have the full blacked out look, and it's hot as hell outside.
He's getting pros to like sign his hat, so if
That's
you guys see him, make sure you sign his hat. But let's talk about some Valorant action and what happened yesterday. We saw two matchups there as well, starting off with Team Secret versus Na'Vi. Seth, I know you had a lot of hope and wishes, but Na'Vi, they were just too good.
They were, and it's not that surprising, to be honest. Team Secret, they definitely really shocked us with how clean they were in that first series, as well as like with being a little bit of all over the place. But Secret looked really clean. I had hopes that they'd be able to take it. The start of Icebox was really contentious from them, but Na'Vi, the veterans that they are, with just adding Cena to this roster as well, just too much to deal with there for Team Secret, who obviously have fairly recently brought those new players in, whereas for the most part, Na'Vi remained as a core from that FPX squad. So I don't think it's too shocking. I think that Secret, with a bit more time, can absolutely be a deadly force in the Pacific League.
Yeah, absolutely. I still think we saw some good moments out of Secret. I like the coordination. I love all the different shock molly lineups and creative little kind of micro plays that they've cooked up in the offseason. Need a little bit more time, but for Na'Vi, they definitely are looking like one of the squads that can be a tournament's favorite. But another one that was also looking fantastic was Leviathan. This game versus Vitality started incredibly close, with Twistin having a fantastic map one on Haven, but at the end of that one, it was just good adaptation and some insane clutch plays from both Shy and King to close out.
Yeah, I mean, King's clutches throughout this series, all of the clutches from every player. Realistically, it was like 7 clutches to be able to win this in overtime, 16-14. Yeah, gave us one of the greatest shots that we've ever had. That one will go right up there next to,
the mouse kiss,
Mouse. Artist standing up as he won those overtime rounds. It's going to go right up there. We'll be remembering that one for a very long time. But yeah, then we got into that second map, and Takolia back over onto the Jet. You could tell that the comfort was there compared to the Raze play, which was fairly disjointed from him, and he was just able to dominate the lobby.
And the crowd was crazy too yesterday.
Yeah, they really love this Leviathan squad. Yeah. Also, that sets us up for Na'Vi versus Leviathan in the next matchup for a semifinal, which is just going to be such an incredible banger of a match.
Yeah, and with that in mind, let's take a look at our bracket, because today I have a feeling it's going to be just as wild as yesterday. We've got 100 Thieves versus FUT coming up first, and then again, Fnatic versus Furia. I mean, the crowd were cheering for Leviathan, but Mimi, you got to think that the Furia fans, I think it's going to be even louder than they were yesterday.
Oh, I'm absolutely sure that it will be. Obviously, that matchup has some history in it, which is going to be super exciting to see Furia and Fnatic in their new forms facing off each other again. The second match of today, I think, will also be great. It's kind of the last hope of NA, the last hope of Turkey as well facing off. Have that in the wrong order, but both the matches are going to be great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. We've had a lot of really great days yesterday. Excellent. Now I'm hoping that today goes above and beyond.
I mean, speaking of those great days, we've seen all 32 teams play already, taking the stage here in Brazil. It is a single elimination format, so I feel like every time I've been on the desk, I've had to say goodbye to a lot of players. But you guys at home might be wondering, what have they been up to? What have they been up to since leaving Lock-in? And luckily, I know, Mimi, you had a day off yesterday. You know, we sent you to the field to do some investigation and see what these players have been doing. Now, one of the players I want to talk about is Zekans, because I feel like we didn't see enough of him.
No, we really didn't see enough of him. One game out of Sentinels, he looked pretty solid, but I was hoping to see a little bit more. The thing is now, he has to fly back to America, and there's like a whole month before the league kicks off for Americas, so he's actually had to go back to school, and unfortunately, with all the time he was focusing on prepping, he's really fallen behind on the pre-calculus homework. Luckily, though, the entire team of Sentinels, their coaching staff, very statistically minded and have managed to help him out to stay on top of his schoolwork.
That's a lot of books he's got to read.
Yeah, having Kaplan there, that will help a lot.
Thank you very much, Mimi, for that great work that you've been doing. Seth, I know you were also kind of keeping up with Talon as well. One of my favorite teams in this tournament. For me, again, I wanted that Cinderella run. I wanted it so badly for them, but sadly, we didn't get it.
Yeah, I wanted to see that too. They were our second best Pacific team that we've had. You know, having to go up against DRX in that other side of the bracket, a really rough one for them. But even though they came up short, they still gave us really fantastic performances. They pushed DRX to the limits. They were able to eliminate, you know, fan favorites such as EDG. They're, you know, fans 10 and 11 out there in the audience that were watching.
I'm number 13.
Mimi's number 13, of course. It was a great run for the squad, especially with the rookies that they've had. But ever since they had that star-studded performance, they've decided to add boys to the end of every single one of their players' names just to have some extra synergy. So now we've got Foxy boys, we've got Sushi boys, Jit boys, Cruise boys, and Gardens boys.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. I feel like...
It really just brings the team together that
way.
But wouldn't that be Sushi boys boys?
No, he's already one of the boys. He was already ahead of the curve.
If anything, we would do Sushi boys squared.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Great work, guys.
I can help Second with this pre-calculus.
Thank you for filling me in on what's been happening. But one of the people that I really, really want to know again, just feel like we didn't see enough of him, is Scream. What's Scream been up to, you know? And also, of course, in this tournament, I feel like this is not the Scream we expected.
Yeah, I had a super busy day off. Actually took a short trip over to Belgium to check in on Scream and see what he's been up to, because I was curious, you know? A lot of people had questions after coming in IGL of Carmen Core, having some great moments, but maybe not really able to sell people on this no duelist thing. But that's been exactly what he's focused on. This guy is out in the streets preaching, standing up for what he believes in, and shutting down duelists everywhere. And I just think that's beautiful.
I love this image. It looks like a thumbnail from an Onion article.
Frankly, look at it. I thought Belgian people were normally pretty nice. I don't know why they're shutting their ears. Like, they should hear him out.
They're rejecting his message. He's speaking the truth, and they don't want to hear it.
I think we should get a megaphone and just follow Mimi around screaming about no duelists and see how she feels.
I didn't say I believed in it. I didn't. I listened to it. I didn't believe it.
I think we would cause a breakdown in record time. It would not be very good.
I do want to say, though, I think out of everyone that's being eliminated, one of the players that I don't think anybody expected to be eliminated so early was Ye. Do we even need to explain who Ye is? I feel like at this point, everybody knows El Diablo.
Yeah, of course. He's El Diablo. He was the best player in the world last year, putting on incredible performances, shattering fandoms, and breaking hearts that whole year throughout. But we did see him make a very early departure here in this event, which was not what we were expecting whatsoever. But obviously, there's been some stuff going on in the background.
Whoa, nope. You cannot say what you said. I actually have listened into these people for several days now. I've been told from credible sources that C9 is making changes, but this is just too important. The sensitivity around this subject is too much. We're going to have to refrain from saying absolutely anything about this. I'm really just not comfortable putting that out there. So, guys, we have no idea what's going on with Ye.
I want to know, Mimi. I want to know.
No. There's no information.
Okay. He's just slashing my whole segment there.
Great. No, I mean, we as a desk and as a product can neither confirm nor deny Ye's existence on Cloud9.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Mimi. But great work. Really, really proud of the information you two managed to
I think I have a career in journalism.
I think you, Mimi.
I think you do too,
Private
Seth.
eye.
Yeah.
Mimi Geddes, get it on.
I think I'll keep my own last name.
Now, we told you guys about the players that we've been missing, but I want to know who you guys have missed the most in today's poll. These are the options: Zekken, the Talon, Boys, Scream, or is it Yay? Scan the QR code and cast your vote right now. And let us know, you know, maybe there's some other players you've been missing. So make sure you can tweet at us as well using the hashtag VCT LOCK and VCT so we can highlight your tweets and your opinions on the broadcast. But for now, let's take a look at two teams that we have missed a lot, I believe. It is NRG and Giants in today's in-zone open mic.
Are you guys ready? Careful, don't group on the orb, please. No, breach stun day. Okay, okay. Ready?
Wait. Hold on. You're with ult. Oh, no. Let me cross lanes.
Can they group up towards fight A? I don't know. I feel like they will take A control. Get close. Get close.
You want me to ult and then pop or what?
Okay, go.
Just all. Yeah, it's okay.
Go. I am not smoking heaven, okay? Clear, and then I will smoke.
Hey, all side already. All side. Can't be heaven, guys.
Yeah, smoked heaven.
I'm ulting.
Smoking back. Ult.
Ulting.
Battle! He's done. Flashing water! Coming in! In the O! 1v2. Default. Chill. 1v2. Yeah, we'll throw.
No, just throw.
I'm gonna throw. That's running from water. The spike is left. He's looking for frags.
Maybe it's City, yeah, maybe it's City.
What's up, City? What's up, City?
Side.
Spike is here.
Yes, inside.
They're gonna walk in when you tap, I think.
No, I don't want to cancel. I will cancel.
Cancel. Let us go.
Drop it.
Go right side. Scale right side, please.
Okay.
Nice! Yo! Come on,
John.
What is that? You're insane, bro!
I'm kind of sad you didn't find out what FNS has been up to. I miss him.
Yeah, I would have liked to know.
Yeah.
I mean, probably not much. He was very cold in that clutch. Just, yeah, I won it.
I know what
Just
he's been up to. He's ever since they got eliminated, he's been sitting in a sensory deprivation tank, just focusing and going into his mind palace and figuring out how he can become a better IGL.
Even
mind
more? Oh my
palace.
goodness.
Yeah, he's going to ascend.
He's going to win every event if that really, really happens. Yeah, well, thank you very much, guys. Once again, for your great investigation work. We're going to throw this to a break. But when we come back, we're going to be catching up on the first matchup of the day. It is 100 Thieves and FUT. We'll see you in a minute.
Necesito para llegar a otro nivel. Dice por la calle que tú tienes un cojete. Vamos al espacio que la fiesta si comete. La tierra es aburrida, tengo nada que hacer. Entonces prende tu cojete, la estrella quiero ver. Dice por la calle que tú tienes un cojete. Vamos al espacio que la fiesta si comete. La tierra es aburrida, tengo nada que hacer. Entonces prende tu cojete, better rock it like I said.
Welcome back to a lock-in. It's time to jump into our first matchup. It is NA versus EU. I feel like it's been a while since we had that head-to-head. And even though this tournament is a single elimination, was that yesterday?
Fnatic Sentinels.
Oh, yeah, does it really? Okay, I won't flame. But what was I going to say? Even though it is a single elimination tournament, these two teams, they have faced each other pretty recently with the same roster.
Yeah, that they have. Back at Red Bull Homeground, both these squads played against each other in the offseason, but now they've made some changes since then. Kiwi wasn't able to play with the squad back then. Now FUT is working with their full roster. Of course, 100 Thieves still that same squad. What I think is the most interesting about this matchup is that 100 Thieves is going to be the very last stand for North America. The only team NA fans have left to root for, except for the other America squads. And Footballists as well is absolutely the pride of Turkey.
Yeah, they really are. And I mean, you mentioned not being able to have Kiwi. He was absolutely instrumental in them getting dominance against the side of RRQ, but 100 Thieves should have a tough task ahead of them. Like you said, there's now that added pressure for them being the final NA representative. And they want to make sure that they stay in this tournament, but everything to play for both of these squads who just do not want to go home.
Yeah. We've seen both of them play already. Of course, this is the second time they're going to be taken onto stage, but I do want to start with that 100 Thieves versus EDG game because 100 Thieves were very nearly not in this tournament. There was a world where we didn't see them here today.
I mean, this matchup was quite wild. I think kind of the definition of this game was that both teams were defined by the clutches and the plays that happened in the very late round. On this Pearl map in particular, the one that the series ended on, it was 100 Thieves heading in, or excuse me, it's where it started, but it was 100 Thieves heading in, trying to find these sites, playing that slow mid-round, and EDG playing back, and then coming into these really crazy brawls where it ended with clutch after clutch, mostly between Chichu and Stellar.
Yeah, I mean, Chichu was playing out of his mind, Kong right there as well, but Stellar was just incredible, and he was one of the ones that really just kind of put that final nail in the coffin, sprang through that Viper's Pit, being able to come up with 2 kills and also breaking my heart simultaneously. But it was a fantastic game. I think one of the best series that we've had in the tournament so far. We can only hope that today's match also delivers in the same fronts.
How much do we read into that? How much does that change your expectations of 100 Thieves? Because it felt like they should have had this side of the bracket as a no-brainer. They should be breezing through it.
I think for me, I didn't underestimate EDG, but I also think EDG played a lot better than I would have anticipated. And at the same time, 100 Thieves, I think, played slightly below where I expected them to be. It did give this kind of like cross beam, the beams crossing ended up having this like crazy match that was so very close down to the very end. But I think 100 Thieves definitely need to step it up if they're going to look to take the series versus Footballs today.
Yeah, I think my read on it was more that I think there is a positive spin to this, because I agree with you. I think 100 Thieves struggled. I think their late rounds were getting consistently punished, and they were losing out to a lot of clutch plays that should not have been allowed to happen. But at the same time, when that game got tight, when things got bad, when they were letting rounds slip away, their mental didn't crack. They still managed to come back out, win in that overtime, stay focused, and continue to make excellent calls from Stellar to be able to win that one. A lot of teams thus far this tournament have started slow, and while this was below my expectation for 100 Thieves, it was just their first match.
Well, Cryo did comment on some of the things that you guys are mentioning afterwards, after the game in the interview with Doug. He said, I say that EDG exposed our weaknesses on splitting up towards late mid-rounds. They kind of just picked us off one by one, and we have to work on that. I mean, they haven't had a lot of time to work on that, but Mimi, they're at least self-aware enough to know what they need to work on.
And that's always going to be the case with this team. I think we've always kind of sold them as a squad that is fantastic at preparation. Between the minds of Mike's and Stellar, they'll look back at those matches, they'll come back in with new ideas, new expectations of how to change things. So I'm glad to see that improvement mindset, but I also do kind of agree with what he's saying, that some of the things that we did see in that matchup were a little bit worrying for 100 Thieves.
I mean, they have to step up, right? Because it is still single elimination. They nearly lost to EDG. They don't want that to happen against today. But for more on 100 Thieves, let's hear from 2 of their players, Cryo and Arsena, in this Meet the Team video.
Hello, my name is Matthew Cryo Panganiban, and I play Valorant for 100 Thieves. Joining 100 Thieves, obviously it's a really big org, so I'm happy to be a part of that. And all of the previous teammates that I'm joining, I'm already been good friends with them, so all of it kind of clicked together pretty quickly. So Stellar, obviously our IGL, he kind of keeps us in check during the rounds and has a lot of input on what we should do in mid rounds, and is kind of that like leading voice that we need. And Bang is just our all-around like smokes player that can like really like pop off in any moment. Like he's a really good fragger. Derek, obviously our most clutch player, so it's always important to have him alive in those type of situations. Asuna, who's our flex player, he plays all agents like the same ways.
Hey guys, it's Peter, Asuna Mazurik. I'm playing for 100 Thieves, and I play the role of flex. Winning Red Bull home ground gives us a small advantage, but I don't think it's anything to write home about. Overall, it's just a good event to get experience and develop us as players on LAN environments and get us really prepped for the coming years. We have a lot of personalities on the team, but also we're all kind of like the same. We all gel pretty well with each other. We all work well together and know when it's time to be serious and not. And Derek helps light up the mood, brighten up, and he always has a positive outlook. I think overall my expectation for the year is obviously just plays deep in a lot of tournaments and hopefully win one. Sorry it's been such an up and down road, but hopefully it's only up from here.
It wasn't all negatives. I know they nearly got knocked out, but Cryo, he's still one of the best players in the world. I think he just needs a little bit of time to maybe step up to the form that he had before. And if he does step up, I feel like 100 Thieves have to be the favorites today.
Yeah, I think they absolutely are the favorites in this matchup. And I think we saw that step up again. Stellar's calling his individual performance great on that last map. So is Cryo's.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're talking about the self-awareness, knowing the things that they need to correct from that first series. You heard it right there at the very end of the interview. They know that there's been some ups and downs here. It's been a little bit of a bumpy road. It's all about course correcting, getting back on the straight and narrow.
Well, for more on what 100 Thieves have been doing in game, Brian is standing by at the telestrator to break it all down.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, I'm ready to break down this one. This is their Icebox retakes and what they were doing really well, honestly, playing the post plants and really forcing Edward Gaming into some uncomfortable positions. And there's a couple of layers to this as well that I want to break down, but I've pulled two particular clips, and it's Edward Gaming trying to plant on both A and B. We'll start with the B site here, and showcasing just how good this Omen is as well at stopping it. First thing I want to point your attention to, though, is the fact that they have all this preset utility to try and stop this plan. You can see there's a snake bite, nanoswarm already set down ahead of time, and that just, again, buys time when as soon as they hear this cove coming up, they know that the plant's going to be coming out at any moment then. There's another layer of utility that comes out here when you see another snake bite, but Smoggy ends up sticking the plant, so quite weakened. Here's the second layer, though, to this then retake situation that's being set up here for 100 Thieves. And part of where you start to see the Omen really playing to its strengths as well, because the Paranoia, really great tool for these retakes. It rips across the one side of the yellow box, and at the same time, they end up using this dart to the back of the site, and it's a double face, a double swing. This is one of the major strengths of 100 Thieves that I go on about all the time, is the fact that they are trading effectively. They have really good concrete game plans in situations like this with the retake. And this entire round plays out beautifully. One after another, they take the fights pretty effectively. It's methodical, and everyone is there ready to respond in kind. You notice that Edward Gaming are winning these fights initially, but Derek's there perfectly every single time with the trades. And this is just a recurring theme with 100 Thieves, something that they really do hammer home every single time. Here's another example on the other side now. Looking onto the A side, again, the exact same example that I pointed out before. This time, a nanoswarm setup across the site like this. And this really does apply pressure on Edward Gaming. So they really want to try and get the plant down. As soon as the alarm bot gets triggered, as soon as they hear the plant being tapped, instantly, first wave of util comes down, second wave of util comes down. There's a slow orb and a shock dart at the same time, and Edward Gaming are forced to plant off to the side here. But there's another element here that I want to talk about as well, and that's that Omen once more coming into play. A deep smoke by Cryo. This is what the Omen allows you to do, is to place these global smokes, and this helps out Bang, who's now currently flanking. And I'll show you what this really effectively does. You can see Chichu's really finding it difficult to take a good, effective fight against Bang, and it's because of this global smoke. Normally, Bang, if you're flanking like this alone, it's really risky, because you can just get swung at this little avenue here or this little avenue here, but this isolates the fight just down to one solid angle that Bang has to worry about. And so Bang this entire time is just buying time. He's distracting, he's taking fights, and also just taking names as well, winning these fights out. And Edward Gaming are throwing everything to try and stop this post plant from really getting off this retake as well with the defuse. But again, Paranoia rips through, and it's that scaling, that effective, methodical scaling from 100 Thieves with the threat of Bang also flanking from behind as well, that really allows them to get a lot of damage done when they're going for these retakes. And it's really well thought out. The composition actually does have legs when they're playing it as well, and I think that they're really using it to its fullest potential. So one of the many, many positives that you can really pull for 100 Thieves as well, at least from their previous series, even though it got a little bit scrappy at the end. And so, yeah, with that being said, send it back to the desk as well for you guys to break down the rest of the series.
Thank you very much, Bren. I think Bren summed it up perfectly, Mimi. There are a lot of positives.
There are, and I think probably the biggest one is the way that they coordinate utility on the fly. He was talking a lot about it in the telestrator, and 100 Thieves is putting out some of their comms and some of the videos that they make there. And it's not just Stellar who's calling for stuff. Bang as well. There's a lot of voices in this team that are really good at identifying what they need to do and making that call super quickly.
Well, let's talk about their opponents for today. It is the EMEA underdogs, the pride of Turkey, FUT. They also won their first game as well, but it was a bit of a different story, Achilles. It wasn't as crazy as 100 Thieves' first game.
Yeah, not nearly. It was a 2-0 for them, winning that first map, especially quite handedly. I mean, you take a look back at that Lotus game that came through. I think it was like 13-3, 13-4 was the scoreline, and FUT just looked really well prepared for RRQ. Things got a little wishy-washy as we moved on into the second map, but they still were able to walk away with the win. And you know, RRQ, I think they got a little ahead of themselves in some moments, but overall, football's looking very, very strong, and Kiwi, one of those players that is right there to help lead the charge to victory.
Yeah, and I think football has had a really good job of kind of adapting on the fly to what RRQ was doing. They came out with this weird composition on Pro where they're playing heavily into these retakes, and FUT did a great job of always shutting down those plans, not allowing this team to get into their post plans. Once RRQ started playing more and more into that mid round, they adapted to that as well. Also, early in the series, playing on the Lotus, they bring out this Neon and this Sage composition that looks really well thought through, with Sage walls and Neon diving in to help with these executes, and also some cool gambits on the defensive side. I think most people had pretty low expectations for FUT, saying that, you know, they're just a VRL team, this is their first big event, but the ideas that they brought into this match really impressed me.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things for me that I want to see if they can course correct it is not being super baited by audio cues, because we saw that a lot on that Pearl map. You saw RQ actually being really creative with the way that they were using their prowlers and whatnot to just kind of really start grabbing the football players and drifting them towards one side of the map, and then they would instantly strike on the opposite side. If they can think that through, make sure they don't get baited, I think they're going to stand a really good chance here against 100 Thieves.
Yeah, I think that they absolutely will.
But also the context of this win is really, really great. If you think about this, the last four Turkish lineup, traditionally 4 Turkish teams don't even really make it to international tournaments. And Mimi, the Turkish fans, they are loving this. They want them to go all the way.
Yeah, this means a ton for Turkey, especially during a very difficult time for this country. To be able to see their team coming out and performing at such a level, like you said, Sue, last time that we saw a Turkish team winning series, doing super well internationally, was all the way back in 2021. So seeing this now here is a big, big moment for Turkey. And I think at this point, they've already broken most people's expectations. They're kind of playing on house money. You beat 100 Thieves, you keep this miracle run going, who knows?
I can't imagine how they're going to react if they do beat 100 Thieves. But I want to talk about the 2 IGLs. All of the IGLs in this tournament have had incredible performances, but Achilles Stella is right up there, and Mr. Farland has been doing well as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a battle of the brains when it really comes down to it. Mr. Fallen, you know, putting up some solid numbers here as well as Stellar. I mean, we're just singing him praises and praises just moments ago. But it really is going to come down to that shot calling, making sure that you're not getting baited by those audio cues, making sure that you have your players in position for those retakes. Stellar and Mr. Fallen have both proven that in their opening series, and now we get to see them clash.
They've proven it in the opening series, but this is very much a head-to-head where I don't think Mr. Fallen is favored. Stellar's been here before, performed at international events, called a lot in very high-level competition in NA. Whereas for Mr. Fallen, this is kind of his first big debut. That series that we were just talking about was his first series that he was calling on an international stage. So now, facing off against a really strong IGL, if he can win that mind head-to-head that you're talking about, if he can out-call Stellar, I think that is a huge step towards proving himself as not just a good Turkish IGL, but a great IGL generally.
Yeah, it's going to be a great matchup for sure. Earlier in the show, we took a poll and asked which players you guys at home would miss the most at lock-in. The results are in, and I can reveal that you guys chose Yay! I'm not surprised.
Yeah, not shocking at all. Glad to see the Talon boys got themselves in that second place position, though. I think they went over a lot of hearts with their performances.
Yeah, I think they definitely did. But seeing Yay up there definitely makes a lot of sense. It's been sad to see so many players go home, but 2 more teams heading home today. It is crazy that we're almost going to have our top 4 for this side of the bracket.
I'm going to give you guys a very quick 10 seconds to just show me your prediction, who you're going for today.
All right, I'm going with 100 Thieves. I think they are more experienced. I think they're the favorite in this matchup, and I think their player quality looked fantastic against EDG.
I'm also going with 100 Thieves, and I like their coach. I love you, Mikes.
Well, I think Kiwi is going to squash the hoodie org today, so there it is. Now, it's time to get this day started and find out if the Omega bracket is going to be the EMEA bracket. Which two teams will move forward? We're about to find out. Lock-in day 11 starts right now. age-old NA versus EU matchup. 100 Thieves, they're one of the favorites in the tournament, going up against Turkey's last and only hope. And guys, it's single elimination, and at this point, both teams, they don't want to go home, but I can't help but feel like the pressure is all over on the side of 100 Thieves.
I think it absolutely is. This is their game to lose. You are favored in this matchup. I think a lot of people were already disappointed by their performance versus EDG. And FUT, they came out, had a fantastic debut, impressed a lot of people. I don't think they had any expectations heading into this tournament. So I think they're chilling right now. Anything they can do, any fight they can put up, even winning an upset here would be fantastic for them and for Turkey as a whole.
Exactly, and that's something I was going to chime in on when we were having that IGL discussion, is that, as you said, Mimi, Mr. Fallen, the rest of FUT right now playing on that house money. They don't really have too much to lose from here on out. They've already broken through. They've gotten to that second round. Now they're trying to win out. This could be a moment for Mr. Fallen to start throwing in some wild strats to try to catch 100 Thieves off guard and put them on the back foot. We'll have to just wait and see what happens.
Well, the map vetoes are here. Both teams have played already, so I'm interested to see, Mimi, if they do go back to some of the maps we've seen.
Yeah, the bans stay as we pretty much expected. 100 Thieves have been permitting ascent. FUT is very much often getting rid of that fracture, which is a strong map for 100 Thieves. But Footballers will select into the Lotus. We saw this from them the other day. I really liked what we saw on that map. 100 Thieves, though, I'm interested what they've been cooking up there.
Curious to see what the response is going to be from them. Icebox is still in the pool, but no, it's going to be Haven actually selected by 100 Thieves versus EDG. We saw Icebox, Lotus, and Pearl. The Lotus was a little bit weaker from them. They really suffered on that defending side, whereas Footballs looked incredible versus RQ, so I'm unsurprised to see the Lotus. And FUT decided to take away the Pearl, where we saw 100 Thieves be able to best EDG in that OT.
Yeah, this Haven match will be a rematch from the last bout between these two teams at Red Bull. Last time 100 Thieves took it 13-10. Love to see if history repeats itself as we land on Icebox as the final map. We saw that one from 100 Thieves yesterday. Bren was talking about that Omen composition. I loved what we saw from 100 Thieves there.
I think the map pool was really, really exciting. Obviously, as you said, we understand why FUT want to go there. They look so good. 100 Thieves, they definitely had weaknesses, but I want to talk about the different philosophies we've seen on Lotus, because both teams had such different ideas. The comps were completely different.
Yeah, I think for the side of 100 Thieves, they had something very different than anyone else has brought out. They were playing into that fade raise, they had a Cypher in the mix. No one else has really followed that same path. And Football's as well, unique with that Neon Sage composition.
Yeah, it was so fast and in your face RQ, they just kept getting overwhelmed by it. For me though, looking at the way that this map draft played out, so here in the Prime Gaming Agent Select, I really am concerned for Footballs if they can't win on Lotus. I feel like they need to be able to lock down this first map to keep themselves in the series.
Yeah, things I'm interested here. What I'm looking for is Kiwi. On the defensive side, he was opping, he was a part of Gambits, he was doing it all. 100 Thieves need to shut him down, and when we switch sides, it's the same thing, because he can get faster than those fade raid combinations and be able to get tons of space for Footballists.
Well, all that left to do is to throw this over to your casters. It is Sideshow standing by with a human chessboard, Bren.
Frankie, yeah, hopefully the only games being played, though, is going to be Valorant today in this particular series as well. FUT versus 100 Thieves, and this is a real David versus Goliath situation. You've got FUT as well showing some great form, I think, coming into this series. Not really tested as much, but 100 Thieves certainly have been. These guys have just come out of a really scrappy affair versus Edward Gaming and only just barely squeaking through.
I know, insane. Managing to fend off a couple of match points there that Edward Gaming had. And I saw the players tweeting afterwards saying, this was one of the hardest games I've ever played. The opener against EDG. I think a lot of people were looking at 100 Thieves bracket and expecting them to be heavy favorites in these first two games. And I think they're still a heavy favorite in this one, but it's a great map to start things out from Footballist. I completely agree with this pick.
The desk was talking about it. Real must-win situation here for FUT. Heading into Lotus. 100 Thieves. Just going to be exploring a bit of B there.
Okay, but already, I was doing some VOD review of Footballist on this map, and even though they won 13-3, on A, if they throw that KO knife, they are always playing passive on the A side. And look how much 100 Thieves are abusing that.
Oh, they've just read it immediately, haven't they?
Cracks throws the A knife, and 100 Thieves know there's going to be no resistance here. I think they've got exactly the read on what this defense looks like.
But a rotating door is going to signal this one all down to Moj, see what he can do. Not too much pressure just yet, just abiding, waiting his time out, but okay, now it's down to Captain. Not too much as well. 100 Thieves really just swarming every single avenue available to them onto this site. Smoke's going to be fading away there. Asuna quite low. Let's see if he can follow up with anything else, but right now 100 Thieves not struggling too hard on the pistol round. Flash just to try and evacuate and get back out of there. Play with the rest of his team. Quick dash through now, all down to Kiwi. With the most to do, only down to 10 health, so really difficult task, and that's going to be the pistol round secured.
At Footballist, they did win that opening game against RRQ on Lotus, 13-3, and they didn't have to show their attack side. So that's one of the reasons why I think this is going to be a great pick, because they should have a bit of an advantage once we head into the next half. But their defense side was won by being better on an individual level. I don't believe that it was won by having extremely good Lotus defense strategies. So we get to see here the battle between the IGLs and the battle of the preparation. Have 100 Thieves got what it takes to crack this open and set off to a nice half?
That's going to be a big test, that player quality difference.
So there's the knife again, this KO knife that's landing towards A. And what that means is that they're not going for a heavy, aggressive A setup. They're just doing it to grab a bit of information. Now, sometimes, later into the half, Kiwi is going to be opping behind that knife. But most of the time, Stella's going to read that as just a free entrance into A.
It's a tepid approach from 100 Thieves, just making sure they don't give away too many advantages, obviously, against the eco. Shorty in the hands of Kiwi up close.
Just exploring the whole of the map.
Yeah.
You can see how Stella's taken a bit of information over towards A. He was using his cam really well on their attack side in the game against EDG just to take space. And 100 Thieves are really happy to explore the map here. This to me looks like they're trying to draw attention, but
my word.
Also getting a pick out of nowhere.
Yeah, quite fortunate for Bang, really. Paranoia was ripped across, and it did push them back for but a moment, but look at all this space that's just being gained. Stella quite aware of this now as well. He's managed to lurk his way into that forward position.
His lurks are so good on this map. And that's part of why they're playing the Cypher. He just has that informational tool to work around and can use the rest of his team to give him excellent timings. And Stella's just been so good in the last few months. These two teams played an off-season game, and You know, that's the kind of time where Stella was really coming alive, and this tournament too, he's just been spectacular.
Yeah, putting up some insane numbers, considering the role, considering what he's been having to do, all while calling, but FUT, you can see there's not much of an approach from them, looking to just really just play, I think, going down to the spikes, making sure that they deny any ult orbs potentially to 100 Thieves.
Yeah. And round 3 is going to be the important one here for Futbolist, but they're not even taking a single weapon out of the hands of 100 Thieves, so this is going to be an extremely good bonus round for the Americas squad. And I'm wondering here, because Futbolist have demonstrated 2 defensive looks, generally speaking, towards A. I guess 3 if you include the operator, but one of them is going to be Moj, the Killjoy, holding A, and they throw that deep knife. And the other one is where they try and play really aggressive for A rubble control, and that's Kiwi's job. And I think that's what they're going to throw out here, and that, again, is going to ask another question of 100 Thieves. Have you got what it takes to deal with this? Because we actually saw this fail quite a lot when Futbolist played against RRQ. So Kiwi's going to wall, he's going to stun back rubble, and they're going to try and take control of it. But RRQ just threw out a single stun, and it all fell to pieces. The 2 or 3 rounds where they tried this, Futbolist did not get very much success. So let's see this big clash over at A rubble.
Yeah, a lot of players going to be meeting them, but actually very passive and patient play by 100 Thieves, not willing to just work their way past that choke point. And when they see all this util coming their way as well, they know exactly what's happening here. It's a hard committal by many of the players like you were talking about, Josh. 100 Thieves are the kind of team where they are going to be doing their homework.
Yeah, but I'm not a huge fan of what they're doing now, because Futbolist are going to get the read that this is going to see.
And there's a fight being taken. Mr. Val in a wider swing. It only comes out with 1 before being traded. The players are swarming the site. You can see FUT just surrounding for the time being, and Spike's still not getting down into a position here. 100 Thieves making sure that they can clear most of the site before they get into a position. They can try and plan, and there you go. Great discipline from Bang. Making sure that they hold a lot of these avenues, but still, the one approach isn't really being smoked off just yet, and now you can see it. Moj just comes through. Whoa! 3 kills, and it's down to Derek. 1v1 situation. It just can't quite land the shots. Massive performance by Moj.
What a hero, exactly when his team needed it. The first kill is perfect too. When you're facing against a team that's excellent at trading, you have to expose the tiniest part of your body. And look, you can just see him there, just barely taking the smallest peaks, not going for the classic Turkish wide swing, because that would open himself up to a trade. Played that one beautifully and won every 1v1. Now, in terms of the macro game too, though, 100 Thieves look like they're just giving a rubble to Futbolist. And I don't like that. That means that 100 Thieves and Stella are going to have way less of the map to work with. You've got to challenge this at some point. Of course, it was still a decent bonus, so Futbolists have the economic disadvantage. But look again, I think they're just going to get the whole of rubble for free here.
100 Thieves setting their sights on a different section, though. You can see that. Again, a Horn's a bit of a flash as well, sets them up on these angles quite nicely, farming up the orbs as well. So Asuna has that null command now in his back pocket.
This wall from Ada Captain is fantastic too, because it just blocks off re-entry. How is Stella supposed to lurk past that? And it also gives them a timing. They know that 100 Thieves can't be going back into A without that wall going down. I do like this from 100 Thieves though. You've got to break it, because that creates a little bit of pressure. It means the Futbolists have to at least jiggle peek it instead of just leaving the wall there and rotating away.
Yeah, there was a knife used as well just towards the backside of it, so they know that nobody's lurking on the other side of rubble.
And this is interesting, right? They're creating presence there, but not actually backing it up with any people. They're hoping that Futbolists rotate a couple over to A to plug the gap, and now they'll get an easier hit. This is all going to come down to Mr. Fallen.
Again, has to be the difference maker as the anchoring player, but how can he survive this? All that util being dumped into the back of the site. Aziz locking him into place, locking him into position to decay. Still kicking him, but he's still waiting. Tries to take the swing, but the weapon just not good enough. 100 Thieves, for all their trouble, is going to be claiming 2, making sure that the angles are watched for. Kiwi, that's quite nice. 2 instant responses. The stun's still being found, and it's a little bit awkward there. A little bit strained still with the ult ripped out into his hands. The time running so low. Had no idea that Krax was lurking on his position. And again, immaculate placement with the crosshair. The red ball clutch is going to be claimed. And FUT making it a really difficult task indeed.
This match is set up to be awesome, because there's no denying it. Futbolists are massive underdogs in this game. They played in the off-season too, and went down 0-2 against this 100 Thieves team. But what they demonstrated in the offseason and what they're demonstrating here as well is that the Futbolist players, when they find a gap, can just rip everything open. Yeah. The quality is there. From Moj, from Kiwi, and a bit of a mistake in that round as well from Bang swinging into the stun that was thrown by a Neon. Knocks 100 Thieves down into an eco.
So we'll see if FUT can stabilize. Obviously, still using a couple of Spectres just from that prior round, but looking to hopefully build up the bank with this one round. But massive investment there with Cryo actually utilizing that showstopper just to try and get into the site. Space was given to him. There's no challenge there from FUT. A bit of a tap at a spike as well, just seeing if they can get anything else. And they do.
This is going to A.
Yeah, the lockdown gets used as a response to this one, but the door's broken, and Stella was lurking this entire time up towards A. So getting a bit of that space, but there we go.
I think that's the second kill that Kiwi's got through smokes in this round.
Yeah, pretty precise spray down. Collecting the one kill for them. They have had to give up the A site, but the spike is really delayed. They're only just trying to get this onto the site now, and it looks like FUT are not wasting any time. Already taking the back of the site in the pit.
Stingers are so dangerous here, though.
Waiting for this util, maybe to just try and pave the way for them forwards, and there you have it. Collapsing, converging, however you want to call it. Easy cleanup for FUT.
Very well done there. Nice position from Ada Captain as well. That creates a crossfire on anybody that might be trying to get aggressive in the post plan. And also just good awareness from Kiwi of the timings of when to span through these smokes. Well, I guess that one's not even quite through a smoke. He's actually spotted the player right as it blooms. But I think one of the big advantages of playing Neon on this map is that Kiwi should just be able to be ahead of the attackers no matter what. Yeah. He's so fast rotating around the map. And it looks like, again, Futbolists are going to try and control a Rubble. So they're throwing the wall, they're throwing the stun. That means if anybody tries to get across the Rubble, they're going to be stunned up and they're going to have a Neon pressure in them immediately. And 100 Thieves don't really have the best comp to try and deal with this. You know, they can't counter-stun Kiwi. They don't have an Omen to teleport over and contest. They've just got to return back to A later on in the round.
And all that space that's been given up, you can see it's immediately vacuumed by the two players that FUT this time holding quite close.
And
again,
I like
same
this,
Sage Wall.
But it's delayed as well. He waits until 120 to put it through. Oh my word, that little angle.
Stella attempts to punish that by just breaking a portion of it, but he almost had his head ripped off in response. While all that was happening as well, Asuna did fall. Not sure if that was a kill through the smoke or what, but body left behind now. It's 100 Thieves left in a 4v5.
And if Futbolists can win on this side, on this half, this might just be a dominant map.
That sets them up quite nicely. Cosmic Divide is going to be splitting up the site, though. Whole cacophony of utility just being used to try and at least get their way into it. And FUT aren't shy, still not shying away from the fight. You can see holding through, waiting for the right time, possibly for the wall to go down now as well. Great C's just making sure to delay them so they can't quite push through that one. But now the stuns are coming through. Let's see how this fight gets taken at the back of the site. This fight's going to be critical. Already so many shots. Just going away, and Kiwi again comes up with the goods. 2 kills for him. It's a dangerous game that 100 Thieves are playing right now, just trying to wait it out, spray down the transfer. The kills are going their way, and no one's really been sticking this defuse. Down to that 1v1. Stella just jiggles, knows that nobody's on this spike, but the smoke is going to be obfuscating it, but a tap, tap, tap at a rifle. And it's a strained round, really pushing 100 Thieves to his limits, but a round nevertheless, making it an even scoreline.
You see the advantage there of 100 Thieves being able to get the post plant that's just out in the open. That plant position is amazing. And if you're forced to plant safe, there's no way 100 Thieves are winning that round. Despite the heroics coming out from Kiwi, who's 10-4 right now, 100 Thieves steal one back. And that provides a buffer for their economy. All right, where's the op playing? So sometimes they'll be throwing this knife, and Kiwi will be opping behind it. This time, though, knife is going to go down towards A main, and Kiwi is on C. Does Bang read it? No, he doesn't. Jiggle peeks in, and once more, Kiwi hitting every shot.
Yeah. When we talk about teams like FUT, Turkish region as well, just talent in spades on an individual basis. They've got that confidence.
Yeah, I don't think they have anything to lose. In a game like this, when you know you're the underdogs, you just have to bring it all. There's no pressure.
Yeah. That can help them out. Just talking some behind the scenes as well, just getting the opinions of various players and coaches as well. And they did say, don't underestimate FUT coming into this match. Because if they play like they do in scrims,
yeah,
you never know when suddenly, you know, the fundamentals just make it an easy victory for them on some cases.
Yeah, that's the thing. When these Turkish teams play with confidence and when they're hitting shots, it can be so difficult to deal with them.
Horn to try and cross there. Shot just going wide. A wall right in the face of Stella. And he is leading the Chargers team. There's a nade as well, just past that cage, making sure that there's space there. Refight being
Stella
taken.
again.
It is Stella. This guy's coming up with kill after kill, but it's a pivot play. They break the door, now going to be making their way now over towards B. Neural Theft revealing a couple of the positions there as well of that one kill that they did manage to claim, and it's a very fast plan.
It's going to allow a res, though, onto this player, too, so it should be a 5v4 retake. The question is, can Derek and Cryo make the play?
Yeah, trying to go for the double swing here. There was a res while all this was happening, but the extra layer in this play is Stella just holding that one flank still. It's a hard retake. Everybody from heaven, all 4 players of FUT gliding through. Kiwi just trying to take the fight to Asuna, but steady aim with the rifle. 2 kills get claimed. Already 2. Have on the defuse, getting a bit dangerous, but okay. Safe hands for Cryo. Eventually wraps around, does find a shot.
Stella wins them that round, though, too. The kill onto Mr. Fallen. IGL versus IGL. But the fragging coming out from Stella has just been amazing in this tournament. And to find them that pick that allows them to then pivot through B is massive. Asuna, too, getting 2 while pressured here is likewise amazing, especially considering the pinch that was coming around. Yeah, huge plays from 100 Thieves. Those are the kind of moments that they need. You can't allow all of the big clutch momentum to go in the favor of Footballist. That's one of the things that lost this map for 100 Thieves against EDG. They just couldn't stop moments of magic from Jishu and Haodong.
Knocked down to the half by for FUT. Stella. Oh, that angle and the peak!
The triple face!
And yet, moments of brilliance from FUT. It's what makes them a dangerous team. Just trying to claim the gun, backs away. Kiwi does get out with his life, and nice monetary upgrade in the form of that rifle. And already swarming this site, though. It's a fast reaction from 100 Thieves. And this time, it looks like they are trying to fight as well towards the back of the site. Smoke, it was a recall as well, pulled back all the way, and the Sheriff's just not quite good enough. As I say that, though, matching them pound for pound tonight. Nade is really, really fantastic. Taking a lot of damage. Paranoia, though, that's going to be setting them up. The Satchels! Oh, my goodness, and this is getting so damn messy!
They're giving me flashbacks to Vitality of yesterday, Brent, where the player quality is so dangerous, and the eco rounds feel like Footballists are maybe even favored.
Yeah.
100 Thieves playing with the fear of God in them as they swing these corners.
And these shots were just magnificent. Look at that.
But also, I mean, even Derek's final kill there, I feel like if he's against a rifle, he takes his time, he's a little cleaner, but just relying on the spray and spraying and crouching. It's a really messy round that lends itself perfectly into the strengths of Footballist.
It was quite forced in that moment.
But I mean, he's watched everybody else die around it.
Yeah.
And 4-4 the score. 100 Thieves' economy has been getting squeezed in this game. Losing a Thrifty doesn't help. Asuna fans?
Yeah, apparently. Does he
Playing
count for 100 weaves?
What, sorry?
Asuna. Is he equal to 100 weaves?
Well, I'm not sure. He's just one, isn't he?
Just one man. Yeah.
He's only one man. What can one man do? So a timeout here called. 100 Thieves with an opportunity to consult with the coach Mikes about what they should do in this round, because I think it's not clear whether you should go for a force buy or not. They have big ults to work with. They could make it work, but if they don't, it's probably the half. You know, you're looking down the wrong end of 7-5 or 8-4 if you lose this.
Yeah, not the best of halves. So it is that full investment from 100 Thieves and a bit of a gamble for them. But with their setup.
So here comes this long-range knife. You see all the way back from cracks.
It does feel like 100 Thieves have been doing their homework. They recognize, at least in the past, it means that there's a bit more of a passive hold, as it is just Moj holding down onto the back of A, anchoring.
And I think you get the read from the Sage wall anyway, right? Yeah. You see that Ada Captain's walled off B, so I think breaking the B wall and then pivoting back to A is going to be a pretty decent game plan. And Futbolists not really reading the gap in their defense as they have 3 players stacked on C, while Bang goes and pokes and prods, seeing whether this, maybe one time they fake it.
What option do they want to take here? Stella is still containing as well through that C choke point, making sure that none of the defenders end up trying to press the advantage that they have. It's a risky moment here, down to about 50 seconds in the round, and whatever call gets made, it looks like the spike is leaning towards that A site.
I'm really surprised that Futbolists aren't trying to move somebody over his way. They're just planning to play a full retake setup here.
Yeah. Knifeful to try and fake some presence towards B, I believe, latching onto one of the targets, which was at a captain. He's not going to be able to hear those sound cues, and that's going to set them up. Oh my goodness, showstopper into the turret. What did they do to deserve that? But a full retake setup being played by FUT, just backing away, making sure they don't give away too many easy kills. They know that they have that weapon advantage, the rifle advantage, and it's going to be down to Stellar, honestly. He's taking an incredibly late flank this entire time, the backup plan for them, but timing is going to be so important, especially if FUT decide to take this with some speed and pace. Finally starting to get injected. Fight's being taken, bit of rifle spam. Sounded quite messy off to the side, but it was a kill claimed. Now that flash to re-clear. Cryo dodging, weaving, ducking in a double face up. Fully blinded up still. Derek, how does he claim that one? And they do eventually shut down the retake.
Watching this game so far, it feels like aim versus brain. It feels like Futbolists are just able to win no matter what their decision making in some of these rounds because the player talent is absurd. And for 100 Thieves to be able to win these situations, they need to be working the map, pulling the rotates, identifying gaps in the defense, getting into good post-plant setups, supporting each other well. Like, all of the fundamental stuff is still being done really well for 100 Thieves. And they're only 5-4 up despite getting pistol and follow-up, because FUT are that dangerous. Here they have Sheriffs in the hand again, Mr. Fallen with a Guardian. I'm not counting them out whatsoever.
You got to respect it, that prowess that they've been showcasing. Really precise aim, and this is a contact push from FUT. 3 of the players deep down C, and it's here that presence towards B. Looks like they want to try and take the fight, but contained in good time. The door was rotating around, and at those kind of angles, you're going to need a miracle to try and find a kill or two. Moj looks like he wants to try and take some risks.
Yeah, really safe stuff. Very nicely done by 100 Thieves on the contain. Even if those 3 players had decided not to open the door, but had instead pushed into spawn, Stellar and Bang were ready and waiting.
The side's going to be given up. Should be a free plant. Not too much risk of this going wrong. We've seen some miraculous stuff. Okay, well, Mr. Fallen almost getting away with one there. But the 2 players, the remaining players, have put their falling, so Prime Gaming flawless, keeping the money going strong now for 100 Thieves. Starting to build themselves up to a nice sizable lead.
Yeah.
Stella as well will be able to get a bit of a weapon upgrade as well, finally getting rid of that stinger.
Kiwi goes back to the op. But just taking a look at kind of the round in a replay, that 100 Thieves, that is how you deal with an eco round. Super ready for a push coming through. All of the players supporting each other and really precise. That's what you expect them to look like. Kiwi opping. Over on C again. Hasn't decided to op on A this entire time.
In fact, it's leaving B completely open.
But this time, they are actually following that KO knife over at A.
This is a dangerous moment, Stella. Waiting right into the sightlines of Kiwi.
Will they expect Mr. Fallen to be here? Every other time, this KO knife has meant there's nobody on A, we're holding passive.
They've been clearing this sometimes with a KO knife to the back of the ruins. But Mr. Fallen could be just that extra thorn in their sides. He tries to take a fight. Maybe around the time of the haunt, he knew he was going to be revealed. Even the Nightfall, making sure nobody's just hiding behind these boxes. Okay, spam down the wall, why not? Even isolating that fight as well. A captain just feels like he maybe has to take a risk there. Fighting that one, and what a flick from Cryo. The readjustment. Crosshair placement wasn't the cleanest in the world. You got to be kidding me. Double satchel plays. The C's latching on. Here we in a bit of trouble. Obviously cutting off all the sound cues, but there's that 2v3 retaking with the operator. Never advisable. FUT might just opt into saving this round, playing it really safe. Or not. Still looking like they actually want to fight this one. A flash ready in the hands of Asuna, though. Bit of a pre-fire. They see the stars down. Now the wall blocks off that sightline. Pop flash play pushing through. Fully blinded up, but the spam. Blessed by God, in that moment, it feels like still the stun finds one. With the rifle upgrade still, a slide-off angle, Asuna is favored.
I don't think that was even spam. Bang was holding anti-flash, ready for the play to be made.
Ah, I see.
And I think you just get another glimpse into the thought processes of 100 Thieves and how good those fundamentals are.
Just discipline.
Yeah, and also the diligence there to clear this out. They've been getting the A side of the map for free a lot of the time, and they're still super diligent about clearing out Mr. Fallen in that position. Round 9 really was the pivotal turning point. If 100 Thieves have lost that, we would be seeing a very different half. But after they managed to cement their victory there, they're running away with this.
So this next one's going to be an important one for FUT. That same pressure being applied towards A main. You can see the knife as well, a forward position by Kiwi. But nothing out of the usual for 100 Thieves. They've been playing most of these attack rounds very slowly.
Yep. The only unusual thing is that Bang was using an attacking operator, but you know, having not seen anything, he now just swaps back over to the Phantom and chucks it over the edge, I believe.
Just taking up this space towards C. 2 players holding it down. They're going to have to be the difference maker.
Cryo double blast pack play, perhaps?
Yeah, orb being picked up. There's a Haunt online, just contacting.
Wow.
Right into the sight lines, right into the sight lines. A Morgan, the swing is good, but just can't quite find the kill. Fragment nade also a little bit delayed. Unable to really push past that onslaught of the 100 Thieves players, making sure that they take the entirety of the site. Even that plan going down. Asuna is low. There's a paranoia. Wasn't really linked up with anything else. Making sure that they clear all of this. The knife, though. Moving the ult away from Kiwi. This is going to be difficult. There is a res online. And the captain could try and bring somebody back right behind the wall there. What do they want to opt for? Pushing forwards.
But it's still that incredibly good post-plant position.
Yeah, and how do you disrupt this? There's no one on the flank. Lockdown's going to be used. This is going to be gaining a bit of space for them, but time is starting to run low. What a shot, Kiwi.
The lockdown might do it.
Massive still. Overplays his hands now to showstopper. It's giving him that kill. Fires the rocket, but it goes just directly wide. Another captain pushing forwards. Tap into the spike, but the lockdown, okay, defusing half of it. It's down to Bang. Stunned up, spray down. Has to buy this time. Mr. Fallen's done it. Absolutely majestic gameplay. Despite the heroics of Bang, just unable to pull it through for them. And so FUT, they gain themselves a respectable half.
It certainly is respectable. 5'7" footballists. They showcased their ability to hit some absurd shots. And also, what a great lockdown towards the end there to push everybody back and disrupt that post plan. Footballists also have not showcased their attacking side very much because they destroyed RRQ on this map. So 100 Thieves are now going blind into the second half.
Yeah, so an interesting Lotus awaiting us as well into that second half. But before all that, the desk is going to be breaking down what we've seen so far.
Thank you very much, guys. A 7-5 half, but my God, Mimi, that was scrappy.
Yeah, it really was. And I think that was kind of the defining moment of the half. Josh was talking about the fact that there was a lot of really readable plays for footballists, and they leaned into that again. They played very, very similarly, and 100 Thieves had an excellent read on it. The thing is, those rounds started to get very scrappy at the end, and I wanted to look back at one of them where FUT was actually able to get away with winning one of these eco rounds. It starts off with 100 Thieves having a good call. They realize that with that KO knife, without seeing that Sage roll, they're expecting a walk-up. Stellar holds for it, and he gets kind of owned initially, but the reaction is good. Give it back to C for 100 Thieves, and they want to push space in the post flank because they're worried about a multi-flank from seeing all those players on the A site. That's the right call. The thing is that FUT just has such insane individual level that they're still able to win out those rounds against a team that's normally so good at trading.
Yeah, I mean, Josh has been talking about it. The individual skill level on all of these players cannot be underestimated, and pushing them like that, even though you have that weapon advantage, you feel confident you can get shut down, and they did. One of the things to look forward to, though, Josh is also kind of teeing this up right at the end. We have not seen very much of footballs on attack. Kiwi, he's getting ready to be unleashed on this Neon, and I cannot wait to see what he's going to be able to do, because versus RRQ, we only got to see 4 attacking rounds from them.
And the thing is that 100 Thieves also really struggled in their game versus EDG on this map, on their defensive side. And playing against this Neon, I think it might be able to counter out some of what 100 Thieves' game plan is with this C's nade. They did have good preparation in the first half, though, so I would expect the same from 100 Thieves here, but you can never count FUT out.
Yeah, it was a 7-5 half there for 100 Thieves leading in that series. They only were able to pick up 2 rounds versus EDG, so we need to see a stronger defense from them.
We do indeed. FUT is they're definitely not out. This is a great score for them to head into the second half. Back to you guys, Saito and Bren.
So just before we get into the action, we, listen, beautiful day for attack pauses, isn't it, Josh?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love them.
Lovely weather outside.
It does give us an opportunity, though, to talk about how important this upcoming half is. Because Footballists have got to win this map, man. If they want a chance at getting the upset, it's not happening on Haven and Icebox. I just don't see a world where that's the route to victory here. It's got to be on Lotus, the map where they won, the map where 100 Thieves lost, the map where 100 Thieves don't know what's coming at them in the second half. I think if Footballists are going to deliver an upset result, it's got to happen right here.
Starts here.
And that means the pistol is crazy important. And then following on from that, the Des talked about it a little bit, but getting crazy value out of the Neon, maybe some Sage wall boosts, stuff that we've seen from, you know, HyperX and other teams like that in the tournament so far.
Yeah.
I want to see something interesting, something creative, and some moments of magic.
It is that narrow lead for 100 Thieves, but as the desk has mentioned, as we've mentioned, it's uncharted territory for them. If they're looking to try and counter strat, obviously the map pick being FUT's, 100 Thieves got to choose their favored side at the beginning. Initially, it's the way it works, and
yeah,
maybe they had an idea in mind as well of what they wanted to do to disrupt, but who knows how happy they are with those 7 rounds.
Yeah, and just to kind of talk a bit about when these two teams clashed in the off-season, Footballist post plants were really good. You saw the stat there, 89%, but that's only against RRQ. There's a massive difference in our expectations, in what the players have done in the past, in what the orgs and the team have done in the past between 100 Thieves and RRQ. So I think Footballists are going to be pressed in the post plants, and it's important, though, that 100 Thieves actually apply a ton of pressure. When you look at what they've got to try and close up these choke points and play aggressive against them, they have nade from Asna and from Cryo. They got pulls, they got seizes, they got all sorts of denial on the plant and denial on getting through the choke points. I think Footballists should not be allowed to get into those comfortable post-plant systems. But here we go, into the pistol round, and this one might mean everything for Footballists.
Might mean everything, and Josh, you said they shouldn't be allowed to get into those comfortable post-plant situations, but sometimes FUT will just barrel forwards. They'll take names and take a scalp as well. Cryo immediately going to be the first casualty.
He had no idea that Kiwi was going to be running at him with that kind of pace. I think he got killed with Boombot in his hand.
So an unfortunate error there. But FUT, of course, fast to play this one, and look at where Kiwi is. I mean, he has just looked all the way through the connector.
I don't think Asana knows he's there.
Space over the top, though, trying to find the shots. Bang! Rare whip from him, a bit of beef being served up. Rotating around Asana, hoping to at least even the scoreline, even the fight that's being taken, but now left down to just Derek in that 1v4. Finds the first one. He is going to try and make it happen, but would have been good at not allowing any of those isolated one-on-one fights. Anticipating that, a little bit of a peek as well, trying to take this fight. He doesn't know where they are. There's a crossfire, an almost impossible task, and indeed it is. Finalized the pistol round for FUT. Fantastic beginning.
And we said it's a must-win pistol round, and they must be able to get value out of the Neon. Kiwi got so much value. Catching Cryo with his pants down, and then running through, backstabbing Asana, and gives all of the info to the rest of his team on where Asana's playing. 100 Thieves had no idea that Kiwi had gotten that deep. This Neon has got to be a win condition for FUT, and 100 Thieves have got to keep better track of it.
Kiwi currently sitting at 17 kills. He's been the difference maker.
He certainly has.
Starting off on the right foot as well. But now 100 Thieves knocked down to that eco round.
It should be an easy one here for Footballists. I mean, you look at the map, the way that 100 Thieves are grouped up doesn't seem to be pressuring anybody. Footballists, though, off the back of the turret being killed, and they could hear a lot of pistols, but they chose not to aggressively push into C. So they've actually offered an opportunity for 100 Thieves clumped up Death Ball to challenge them.
Yeah, and they're going to be matching them with the pistol. Still, stun rattles through. The rifle in the hands of Kiwi. Absolute weapon of death.
Give him a Spectre and let him run at people. All right, fair enough. The Vandal still was saved. Same kind of thing.
Derek's doing some serious damage here with that pistol. Frenzy, making the most of it. 2 players knocked down to very low health, and, well, Asana, last man standing. Spots the one, not going to be given an easy angle to fight over.
But this is going to be massive for the bonus round.
Yeah, beautiful.
Only losing 2 players and keeping 2 rifles and a bulldog into the round. Kiwi has his ultimate to work with. This is going to already put a lot of pressure on 100 Thieves so early.
And one of the strengths as well that we were talking about with 100 Thieves setting it up. Even I was talking about it in the pre-show as well with the Telestrator, but the pure fundamentals from 100 Thieves, being able to take those fights, the player quality being a bit of a difference maker, but also having each other's backs. A team like FUT, they really do test that.
Yeah.
They push you to your limits. They make sure that, listen, they're going to be winning the first fight, then the next one, then the next one. That's what you can come to expect of a team like this, and it's been demonstrated over and over again in these rounds.
I mean, at the moment, 100 Thieves just need to shut down Kiwi.
Yeah, he's running away with it.
He's got 20 kills in 14 rounds. It's absurd. I mean, some of them were farmed there on the eco players, but even before that, he was dominating.
And just a little bit of presence being shown. There was a haunt to re-clear through sand on the seaside of the map there for 100 Thieves. So they've got to be aware that somebody could have been late lurking, I suppose, but right now it's all FUT taking all that space towards ruins on A.
There's a couple of trips here. The first one for information, and the second one looks like a kill trip. So we'll see whether Kiwi runs into that.
All popped off, waits it out. Those are the one trip waiting, but okay. Asuna didn't have any visual cues or indicators other than the trip being broken, and now Stella down to him to hold down that line of sight angle, a bit of ADS fire one after the other, but FUT do claim their space, and they're going to be able to get that spike down, this wall, causing problems. Asuna has to be careful just in case somebody was holding out on top of it. Now those fundamentals, that scaling, being able to trade each other out. That's what's really going to be pushed once more for 100 Thieves. How do they get into this one? Smoke pushes it back. Mr. Fallen already claims one, though. Behind the box, a wider swing. And oh my goodness. One after the other. And they all crumble and all fall beneath FUT.
FUT with another post plant that they're allowed to get into and get comfortable at. And the positioning is nice. I think the real key for 100 Thieves is to play more flood retakes. And what I mean by that is, as FUTballists are going for the plant, before they get into position, that's when you've got to instigate the retake. Because when you allow FUTballists to set up where they can play off each other, then they look scary good. I think one of the weaknesses of FUTballists is they're not able to construct that on the fly very quickly. But if you give them 5-10 seconds to set up, then they look nasty. FUTballists have had a great opening to this half, and another one there as well. Being able to win the pistol, the bonus round, despite Kiwi going down, showing that he's not just carrying the team. I said this was a map that they had to win, and so far, so good for FUT.
Yeah, looking like a very solid beginning. Moments away from potentially that 9th round being claimed as well. It's a free site for them. Again, going to go through the layers of it, making sure that they use the util, clear the side out. Don't want to be caught unaware by any players lurking towards it. 100 Thieves are grouping up now towards the A site. Hard one though with the weapons that they've got in their hands. Unless they give something away. Kiwi still looking to take the fights. That kind of confidence, man. I mean, he's just got it over and over again. He's willing to take the fights even at the risk of potentially falling, but no, easy as it's done.
Prime game in Flawless, isn't it? This next one is another pivotal round. I talked previously about round 9 and how important that was for the ult economy and the swing for the rest of the half. I think you're seeing another one right here.
Yeah, the same applies. Yeah, absolutely.
Round 17, going into it, 100 Thieves have got to win this one. They're a few away from some massive ultimates, but I think one of the big problems, 100 Thieves have not been able to control A rubble at all. Now they're putting a bit more of an emphasis there. Got a seize, I believe, in the hands of Derek, along with the 0 point.
It looks like a haunt, actually, just a knife into the back as well with it, but immediately, I mean, FUT do not care. You can throw your util, it's going to be cleared out, and there wasn't really any added threat placed behind that one.
Yeah, I mean, nade used for cryo too, but against FUTballist comp, especially Kiwi on the Neon, it's really hard to predict the timing of where he could be going.
And talk about that pressure, bang. The back of the site now, all the util being flooded his way. It's a paranoia as well, so he's blinded up. Wall, pretty similar position there, taking a fight. I mean, the wall just rotating around.
So good, though. That shut it down. It's got to be a save from 100 Thieves.
Has to be.
They've got no chance.
Unless you start taking risks. Bangs out in the open, though. He knows that someone's planted close to that corner. Astral form, popping it off there, and that's going to be a TP out to disengage. Not cleared, not watched for. Angles tries to flick towards the cranium of Kiwi, but they're just investing everything into this, and it's desperation. Derek trying to make a moment of it, trying to get a clip, but will not happen. Shut down, and FUT leading. 3 rounds now between them.
If they had saved 3 rifles there, they might have still been able to delay that pivotal moment 1 step further and put together something for round 18. But by committing to the retake, I think that's a massive blunder, because they've just set Footballist for a perfect sweep of momentum heading deeper into this map.
Yeah.
100 Thieves are now in very desperate territory. And I think that you're seeing the weaknesses of this composition. While it's very good for controlling the map on some other, or rather, it's very good at controlling territory on some other maps. Here on Lotus, it's too big. The choke points are not small enough to get value out of the Season 8, and they don't have information. As soon as Footballists take away rubble from them, 100 Thieves don't have info on the rest of the map. There was only Bang on C. He was forced to play retake, and 100 Thieves don't even have a great retake comp here. They haven't demonstrated an ability to retake at any point in this map. Footballists are running away with this, and they look like they've got a much better idea of how to play Lotus.
Understandable. It's their map pick. They looked pretty fantastic. Admittedly, not really tested too hard when they played against RRQ, but we referenced earlier, I think 100 Thieves coming into this match and entering that second half, that was the unknown territory, and really feel it, I think, as well, just how important it is that 100 Thieves have a good read on their opponents and what they're going to be doing. Right now, weaknesses just being pried apart.
So once more, we're going to see the clash over towards A. Just a small one, though. Kiwi's not committing to this, so I think FUT are going to allow 100 Thieves to control this area just a little bit.
So
the question is,
a Prowler knife.
Who really pushes up? Does anyone try and take this space?
Looks like the whole team is. They're on a Stinger and Sheriff buy right now for 100 Thieves, so willing to take these risks. And I mean, FUT are so damn aware that they could be pushed here. You can see the ping. Mr. Fallen's not opening himself up to a wider angle. He's letting them push into them. Paranoia, though, this is the time to fight up close and personal. Usually the Stinger favored, but this time, Mr. Fallen,
that is so dangerous.
Away with it.
So dangerous from Mr. Fallen. His teammates had just left, thinking he wasn't going to go for that play, and he's just, YOLO. But whatever, he has a better gun, so he ends up on the positive side of it and gets a heal from Ada Captain, so he's dealt with it.
Yeah, and a bit of a disconnect now as we enter that mid-round.
And 100 Thieves don't tend to be that dangerous on these rounds. Their player quality is really high, just as high as the Footballist guys. But they tend to play in such a structured way that they don't actually have that many crazy opportunities in the middle of a round.
Yeah,
they don't create chaos.
FUT are now wading into the site. There's 2 players holding this one, including Stellar up close.
And they've heard the footsteps,
yeah,
so they're calling for rotates.
They don't have a Paranoia or the flashes all the way through. It's down to Stellar, but he cannot claim the kill. It's Kiwi once more. Massive performance. And so many shots going to be fired now. A bit of a reset of the aim. The angle being found, and time is running low. FUT going to make the most of it. Asuna! Absolute freak of nature.
Well, let me just eat my words. 100 Thieves spoon-feeding my comments back to me. That is ridiculous from Asuna.
And just the spacing from FUT there, just not wide enough to give them any berth away from that. You can see those shots, I mean, lined it up perfectly for him. All he's got to do is rattle them away one after the other.
And I think, Brent, you were right on the money there. Too many footsteps, ironically, from FUT. And 100 Thieves read it, stacked 4 players there, and just like that, they're back in the map.
It was a massive round for them to be able to take away here. Again, that same, really similar presence by 100 Thieves here. They throw the horn, but there's not too much else being used behind this. And this does apply that kind of pressure to Derek, because he's had to just play all the way back. He pretty unaware currently as well. With all these smokes blocking these line-of-sight angles, with how far back he is, he's had to call for rotates. It weakens the rest of the defensive hold for 100 Thieves, as they have pulled over 3 of the players.
It weakens some of the hold, but Bang's getting good info towards C, so he knows this isn't a fake. they can full commit. And now we get to see, how good does 100 Thieves retake look? They're not, oh, they are going for a flood.
Showstopper, yep. Flooding right back in with the ultimate. We have to see value in the middle. Guesses incorrectly. Right to the side. Crack's still making the most of this one, and Ada Captain holding the line, making sure that nobody can wade past that one sight line. It's up to them to try and find some heroics here. Stella tries to reset the aim here. He is going to be on 70 health, drops down low in that 1v2. Players low, but the angle not afforded to him. Ada Captain, what a finish to that one. 11th round gained here for FUT, and climbing ever so closer to that critical map 1 win.
Just when 100 Thieves pull out magic to get back into the map, Footballists slam the door in their face once more. And that post plant was lovely. And also, I got a question. Every time we've seen Cryo try and get back into somewhere with his ultimate, he doesn't have a great read on where to fire it. He looks awkward. He's not taking as much space as possible. I think maybe, and it's still a bit too early to say, but maybe you're starting to see some of that lack of comfort that you wouldn't get with Cryo on Jet.
He's sitting at 10 and 15, so it's always a possibility.
This time, a lot of people from 100 Thieves behind that utility on a Rubble. And it's again going to put pressure on Bang. We saw him just have to retreat last time. Now it looks like he's standing his ground.
Everything on Bang. Shoulders still delivers a kill, finally shutting down Kiwi. Absolute menace that he's been opening up these sites, but the Thieves are going to be afforded now a 5v4 situation for their retake. Derek opens up the door. This is dangerous, but Cryo's watching the other side of it, the other avenue still. Not really trying to play with a bit of pace here. There is a punish there on the res. Kiwi once more being brought down and up close to the wall, Mr. Fallon. No opportunities afforded to him. He tried to push past that stage wall as it was broken, but that structure, that discipline, it does rear its head once more for 100 Thieves, so they do get that round, and so back and forth.
Yeah, this map has been insane so far. 100 Thieves are refusing to give up. Every time it looks like they're out of the map. Round 18, round 20, they're winning the necessary thrifties. I suppose not really a thrifty there, though, from 100 Thieves, because they committed to it, but it was a broken buy.
Yeah, it was weak.
They weren't favored. Only Bang receiving 5 players, and he got massive results out of it.
The fact that he even gets one kill there, fully blinded up, I think, from the paranoia. Yeah. And still gets out of his life.
And just buying time and stopping from Footballists feeling comfortable for the rest of 100 Thieves to get their value.
Heavy presence, though. This fight being taken. And this is a close angle that's being held by Derek and the rest of his team here. Even that util being dumped in. And this can get dangerous if you don't have the proper tools to try and contain, especially as Kiwi opens south up. Slight angle there. The door being open means that Derek does have an avenue to escape. And that slow pressure being put down onto them. 100 Thieves looking like they really want to fight hard for Ruins here. They're aware of players still watching, still holding these positions.
They were hoping to catch Footballist in transition there. They just waited, delayed for a little while, and then opened the door and kind of were hoping to collapse on a few players out in the open. But Footballist was still diligent and disciplined. Now that 0 point finds really good info from Asuna. I think they should have the read that this is heading towards B or C.
Starting to rotate now. Players flooding. Asuna's going to be left onto A just to hold that side down, but that's going to be the incorrect call from him still. Has to show at least that he's thinking about it. But that lockdown being used is going to push 100 Thieves back, so not going to be able to get onto the angles to try and deny space into the site. FUT are going to be able to walk their way in now with 25 seconds left. Very aggressive war. Cryo. That's a play from him, actually pre-firing the top section of it. Now this rotating door. But there's a crossfire. It's deep in sand. Many fights being taken of great importance right now. The 100 Thieves are struggling to get anywhere. These slow orbs are really bogging them down. They just can't quite find the footing to get into this. The satchel possibly to push them forwards. Fight being taken. Cryo wins it. Up close again. The second is there. Now the nade. Rebounds forwards. It's all down to Kiwi with 2. But eventually he goes down. Still planted. Time running low. Down to March. Gets the first. Will he get the second? The top of the spike. He will. And now Bang, half HP, and tap again. 12-9, the Red Bull clutch. What a difference maker.
Incredibly good idea in the round from Footballist as well. It's Moj who opens the round up with the lockdown. And off the back of that ult being used, Footballists push forward and take as much space as they possibly can. The retake was happening on 3 angles, and Moj stayed solid against that rotating door from B, and is there to win by just, as you said, Brent, tap, 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 exactly where they need it on that amazing plant position. It's all off the lockdown.
Oh my goodness!
What an opener.
What a punish!
This might be it for the map.
And at 4v5, it's pushing 100 Thieves to desperation. Showstopper, it's close, it misses! Again! Does he not claim the kill? And amongst the salvage, amongst the rubble, it's FUT that are reigning supreme, and Kiwi, he's not messing around. The space being gained, the shutdown in place, 4 kills to take the map.
It is such an awesome start from FUT. An incredible map veto, exactly pushing 100 Thieves to the area where they've looked the weakest in this tournament, and they come out with results. I was a bit worried about the first half, but with 5 on the board, they demonstrated they didn't even really need that.
And the pressure and expectations on 100 Thieves' shoulders, well, listen, their opponent's FUT, like we said at the beginning, everything to play for, but all that pressure, they know they're the underdogs coming into this, the real David versus Goliath. That's going to be map number 1, wrapped up here, but still, much more of the series left to go. We'll see you just after this.
Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings.